Hello, my friends, and welcome to episode 18 of the $20 podcast. We're recording live on July 5th, 2015. I'm your host, JD, aka Gaddock Teeg, and with me today, as always, is my co-host, Cosmic Engine. How you doing today, Cosmic?
Hello, I'm good. I'm dead excited. I found out today that Dragon Ball Z's back.
Oh, really? Like, new series?
So, it's a follow-on. It takes place directly after the Buu saga, and it's called Dragon Ball Super. I watched the first episode that aired last week in Japan.
Oh, it's already out?
Yeah, the first episode is. The second episode's not yet. I watched the first episode with English subtitles online. I was super excited.
Yeah?
I love Dragon Ball Z.
So what's this? Where is this? Is this future, past?
Well, it's just right after where the Dragon Ball Z series left off. It's like literally right after. So they're just picking up and carrying on, which is awesome.
Wow, that's pretty cool. Same voice actors?
Well, I don't know because there's no English.
I guess not
yet,
English.
So, but I assume it will be because they're just bringing out in August a new movie with all the same voice actors that's always been there. So I assume they'll be back to do it again.
That sounds great. Dragon Ball Z is one of those kind of seminal kids of our generation anime.
It takes me back.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet. So how you been doing? What have you been playing video game wise this week?
What have I been playing? I've been playing quite a few things. Let's have a look. Legends of Eisenwald, which is a old school turn-based RPG. It's kind of a mix of Heroes of Might and Magic and other games. It's a little indie title that was on early access and has just released just last week. So I'm reviewing that at the moment.
Okay.
It's okay. It's one of those. It's a weird game that's like it's indie, and so it's like, and I don't know if it's a case of they tried to go for a certain old school feel or they just kept things very basic.
Yeah.
But like I hate some of the game. Particularly like the battle mechanics because they're so
that's not good.
They're restricted and simplistic, but at the same time the game is like really addictive. and I don't know
what part of it is addictive.
I'm not sure. I don't know. Like I don't know what it is, and it's the strangest thing because I'm reading the story because a lot of it's text based. So I'm reading it and I'm thinking, well, it's not that great of a story. It's not that great writing. The visuals are okay, but they're nothing special. The combat is. It works, but it's not particularly great either.
This game sounds awful. You're making this game sound
and then I'm still sitting there playing it. I'm like, okay, keep going back.
All right.
So,
well, I guess that says something. If you think the game is awful and yet you still play it, that probably means it's
almost like a paradoxical game. It's like I don't know what it is about it that keeps me coming back. I think it's got like that hint of nostalgia with like because it's got like an overworld. The overworld gameplay of Heroes of Might and Magic, so you move around and then as soon as you move everything else moves. It's all in real time, so it's kind of cool, and it's got elements of games like Mountain Blading where you can build up your own army and level them up and stuff like that. So
is there like a management system like army management or anything like that? Yeah. Okay.
So and you get castles and you take over regions and stuff like that, so there's lots of good things in there. Right. But like, there's some things that I really hate. And I'm like, this game is like mediocre at best, but I still keep coming back. Well,
maybe like all those management games, those are the kind of games that I hate to play, but somehow I still keep playing it. Like Clash of Clans and Fallout Shelter, really, are games that are terrible, but I still play them for whatever reason.
I played that this week. I'll be doing a review of that. I got another game called The Red Solstice, which is like a multiplayer shooter, like a twin stick shooter almost.
Okay.
But I haven't managed to play any of that yet. But I have played it in
PC?
alpha.
PC, yeah?
It is in PC, yeah. Okay. I did play the alpha way back when, like last year, the year before, and it was pretty good then. It was kind of like a Space Marine Warhammer inspired kind of team. It's kind of team survival almost. Like you basically get a map and there's various objectives to do.
So it's multiplayer or
it's all multiplayer basically.
All right, 4-player, 2-player.
It's 4 or more, I think it is. You can have quite a large team, so it's pretty cool. But I haven't played it since alpha, so I'll be looking forward to seeing that because that's out next week.
We'll have to check that out. Yeah, all right.
And what else have I been playing? I've played something else. Let me check my Steam.
Yeah. So this week I've kind of picked up on a couple things that I've had in my Steam catalog for the longest time, and I've meant to play forever, but never really got around to it. Darksiders is a game I never finished, so I know we talked about that in the last episode, so I decided to pick that back up again. Still has the same problems, but it's still a lot of fun.
It's awesome.
I know.
I love that game.
The time challenge rooms are something that I could definitely do without.
Have you tried the sequel yet?
I haven't tried the sequel yet. No, I want to beat this one before I get into the sequel. So hopefully, I'll do that probably within the next couple weeks. There are not games coming out. Can we talk about that? There's a big game coming out for another month. I know,
but I like that though, because it means like summertime is the time that I get to focus on indies.
Yeah.
And it's indies that surprise me most each and every year. Because I'm always disappointed by the big games. So I don't know. Yeah,
that's kind of I'm planning on going through a lot of my back catalog now and checking out the games that I really meant to. Like the other one I started playing was The Wolf Among Us, which I've heard mixed reviews of. I've heard it starts really strong, and I think it did. Episode 1 was definitely a really good. I mean, if you don't like Telltale, you're not gonna like it.
Yeah.
But if you're into that kind of thing, like if episode 1 is really good, and then episode 2 just shats the bed like straight off the bat.
Yeah.
And
the only Telltale game I like now is Tales from the Borderlands.
Yeah, Tales from the Borderlands was really good. Yeah. I really enjoyed that game too.
I like that. I pretty much didn't like any other.
Yeah, I think we've talked about the Game of Thrones Telltale game here previously. Yeah. So yeah, just a lot of Steam back catalog stuff.
I did play a little indie game called Polybridge, which is.
Oh yeah, I saw you did a video on that. And I was like, what the hell? What is this game?
It's a little indie bridge building simulator. It's it's all about physics based puzzles. And it's essentially about building bridges, and you get various challenges like you have to usually get a vehicle over the bridge, right? So you have to build a bridge for a vehicle, but in each vehicle has like different weights and stuff like that. So it's all pretty accurate in terms of physics.
Okay.
And then you've got as the game increases in difficulty, you've got hydraulics, suspension bridges, all that kinds of things. You have to build drawbridges to let the boats past and stuff like that. And you can be as creative as possible within the limits, and it's actually pretty fun. It's from the same company who did a mobile version called Paper Bridge, which was like a very simplistic version of that.
I remember that game. Yeah, I remember playing that.
So they kind of took Paper Bridge and just probably fleshed it out basically. And then they threw it up on Steam recently. So
how much is that game? Is that $5?
I think it's $20. I think it's like $10, $15.
Okay, that's not so bad. Cause I was really into those games.
I mean, it's in early access.
It's early access.
Yeah, but it's most of it's done. Like there's over 60 levels in there already.
Okay.
So the majority of the main campaign's in there, and basically all they're doing is basically polishing it, adding some more content, and they've even got the online mode where basically you get to build your own challenges and try other people's challenges out and stuff like that. So
yeah, that's a good thing.
One of the gimmicky things that they do have in that game is the ability to save replay. So if you make an epic bridge fail or an epic win, like you make a bridge that has cars flying over massive gaps and stuff, you get to save that replay and export it into a GIF, so you can share it on Twitter and stuff.
That's actually pretty good. That's a really good idea. I don't know why more games don't do that. Exporting GIFs could be a big thing for some.
You would think so, wouldn't you?
Yeah. So let's move on to some news that really hasn't happened in the past 2 weeks since our last episode. The one big thing that did happen in the past 2 weeks was the Arkham Knight saga. And this really was a saga. Arkham Knight was released 2 weeks ago on PC and the 2 next-gen or current-gen consoles. And the PC port had a lot of issues.
Is anyone surprised? It's Warner Brothers. Is anybody surprised?
Well, that's the thing, but Shadow of Mordor was really good PC port.
Was it? Not at launch, it wasn't.
I've heard good things about that PC port.
It was okay. It did have its problems.
Well, it worked better than Arkham Knight did. But
most games do.
Yeah, and then in between those 2 games, you have what was the fighting game that came out? Mortal Kombat. I can't believe I blanked on that name for a second. they did that one too. So they had some issues with PC, but this one is spectacularly bad. It had problems including being locked at 30 frames per second for a PC game, which is always a wonderful thing to do.
That's a way to win us over.
Yeah, there was several problems with graphics and gameplay, and everything was broken in this game. There were major issues. And then they decided to pull it off of Steam, which is crazy to think about these days. And we've talked a lot about the Steam refund system, and including the devs saying that players should use the Steam refund system.
That's why they did it.
Yeah. So this is unprecedented, really. This is the first major game that's been released, really, since the Steam refund system has been put into place, and they failed the test for sure.
People are like, why did they take it off? Like, they took it off quality control, right? And I'm like, no, they didn't. The reason that they took it out, it was a business decision, because when you purchase a game on Steam, Steam takes like a 30 to 40% cut of that purchase price, right? Now, if Steam users are then like slamming your game and then refunding it, you're just bleeding money.
Yeah.
And that's why they did it, because they were still paying Steam, but like not gaining any money because people were just refunding it. So that's why they pulled it.
I think this there's a lot of questions as to like, well, if there is a refund, who kind of eats the cost of doing that transaction, that refund? And this seems to speak to the developers are the ones that are going to have to pay for it. It's
has
not
to be the
Steam
developers.
eating it.
Has to be.
Yeah. So it's a good thing though. Like this needs to stop happening, and it's only getting worse and worse and worse.
No, I mean I'm glad they pulled it down. I'm glad that they got what they deserve, because Warner Brothers are notorious for this, and I've said this for years because I've reviewed some of their games, and their policies as a publisher, and it's not the developer's fault, because I know that it wasn't Rocksteady who did, even though I don't like Rocksteady. It wasn't Rocksteady who did the PC port. It was another company who are notorious for bad PC ports. Mm-hmm. But Warner Brothers as a publisher are notoriously bad for everything. I mean, do you remember Shadow of Mordor? Their embargo was like 2 days after the game launched.
Yeah,
they wouldn't send out codes.
That's true. That did happen.
And that was a good game.
Yeah.
But it shows you their mentality.
Yeah.
In that even if we have a solid game, we don't want people to see it until all the pre-orders are done and everyone buys first day, and then we'll let the reviewers and the critics say what they've got to say.
Yeah, I mean it's the same thing here. Like, people that like the Batman franchise actually like this game. This game has a good reputation from the people who like the game. People who don't like it are like, this is more of the same, I don't want to play this. But this is not a terrible game. This game was not a clunker, but just the PC port and Warner Brothers, I guess they don't prioritize PC enough or something. I don't know.
Well, they don't prioritize it, and I think that it's a case of sometimes they hire companies that are just bad at PC ports, like the company that did the Batman one, and they just need to wise up to it. Really, I mean, they just need to ensure quality, because I understand that they need to get like that rush. And the problem is that they spend so much time, they force developers in particular to spend so much time on consoles in the development process.
Right.
The PC gets left behind when it shouldn't.
Yeah.
So when it comes to a global launch on multi-platforms, PC always suffers.
Yeah. Yeah, and oftentimes PC gets farmed out to other studios to do the work, because the main studio is focusing on their lead
and it's
platform,
always developers who don't, it's always startups. Isn't it? Like, they don't...
Yeah. Well, actually, in this case, I'm pretty sure it was Iron Galaxy that did it, which is a studio that's pretty well known for doing.
But like a lot of the times, especially in big publishers, especially this happens a lot with EA. Surprising amount with EA. That basically what they do is they give the port to either they outsource it or they give it to an in-house development team that are brand new, that like developers who are fresh out of university.
That I've heard a lot about. Which is good. I mean, it's good. It's a good learning experience for those people, but it's not necessarily good if this is the result.
Like, if you want to teach developers, like actually teach them and not just throw them and say, go do this, you pair them up with like experienced developers, and they work together. You don't just like get a group of young devs straight out of university and go, here's Batman, sort it out.
Especially with the time, like this was, I believe I read somewhere that Iron Galaxy only had a few weeks to do this port, which is absolutely insane.
It doesn't surprise me. But yeah, Warner Brothers are really bad for this kind of thing.
Yeah.
It doesn't surprise me at all.
And then Patrick Klepek over at Kotaku had a great article in which he had sources tell him that Warner Brothers knew for months that the PC port was absolutely broken as hell.
Yep.
And they just didn't do anything about it.
They're not. But, the thing is, people think people think publishers sit there and don't know anything, right? They do. They know everything. They know exactly. They're paid to, right? The CEO at the top of those publishers tells people to know in and out of what's going on because it's big money for them. So they know exactly what's going on.
Well, yeah, and it's not fair to just blame the developers. It's blame the money people, because those are the people that are really making these decisions.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, it is the publishers, and the publishers know what's going on with that game. They don't just publish it. They don't just let the developers do what they want to do and then release it and just put their stamp on it and go, give them money to fund it. They don't do that. The publishers have a nasty habit of controlling everything, right? Mm-hmm. And so they'll know exactly what state the game is in. They'll know all the time because they're paid to. And so it doesn't surprise me that they knew because, and it doesn't surprise me that they went ahead anyway because it was a case of it's Batman, it's going to bring us a lot of money. And we know people are going to buy it because it's Batman. So let's just release it anyway and see if we can get away with it. Yeah.
And thankfully the Steam refund system doesn't let them get away with it anymore. So maybe this is the wake-up call for money people to say, oh, this is no longer okay. We're going to take losses if we keep screwing things up.
I just hope it keeps going this way. I hope publishers particular just have to eat their words. They really have to start. And I think E3 was kind of synonymous of that, in the fact that this year's E3 was all about the consumer and all about giving the players what they wanted. And
there's a lot of apologizing and we know we're effing up
this
here.
Year. There's a lot of appeasement. They were like, oh, I know you've wanted this for years and you've complained about us for all these years, so we're going to do this. And it's because they're realizing that it's time to knuckle under to the consumer, really.
Yeah. But the one bad thing is that if this turns into something where the money people are like, well, let's just not make PC ports anymore. Let's give less big AAA games to PC.
They couldn't afford that. They couldn't afford to cut the PC market out. It's still a massive. It's not people's people. It's not it's not a niche market. PC market's huge. PC market's bigger than I would say it's bigger than PS4 and Xbox One right now. There's more users on Steam than there is PlayStation 4 players.
That's true. I wonder how many copies this sells on PC versus. I mean, it's something we'd never find out. But finding out how many copies of this get sold on PC.
I could find out roughly how many copies sold on Steam.
Yeah,
because you just go to something like Steam Spy or Steam Charts, and you could find out how many concurrent players there are at launch.
Right,
and then you get a rough idea of how many it's sold.
Yeah, because I don't know. Is the PC really? I assume it is, but I don't know who's playing. Is the average person playing on an Xbox One, or are they playing on the Steam PC? I don't know. I understand I'm not the average gamer, so I don't know. Is the average gamer still a console person, or are they?
I don't know. I think it depends on the demographic. I would argue that most people.
For a game like this, because I know certain games obviously.
For Batman, it's difficult because Batman holds a really wide demographic. Because kids love Batman and adults love Batman, right? So it's kind of hard to ascertain. Mm-hmm. I would argue though that you tend to. If you're making it depends what game you're making though at the end of the day, because if you're making a more mature game, you're going to do better on PC, right? Because I'll bring up Steam Spy and see.
Yeah, I got Steam charts up right here. So they're saying all-time peak players were 25,000 on Arkham Knight, and the 24-hour peak was 10,000 players. Look at the all-time charts here. We're looking all-time. Yeah, we're looking at 25,000 peak concurrent users. Steam. We obviously don't have any way to check Xbox One or PS4, so I don't know what to compare that to, but that seems like a pretty high number. It's a pretty high number that only it's still over a third of the players who were playing all time are still playing the game.
Mm-hmm.
So it's interesting.
So I've got Steam Spy here, right? And according to Steam Spy, now this is rough numbers,
right?
But apparently they were looking at a total like from because how long was it up before it got taken down?
Like less than a week.
Less than a week. So apparently, according to Steam Spy, they've got an average of owners in 334,000 owners, and that's roughly based on all these different stats or whatever, like player totals and stuff like that. So if that's in a week, that's not a small figure.
No, not at all.
And there's a lot of people who don't buy on launch who buy week after week. Because that's why they always count like the first month or so as like launch sales instead of just day one, right?
And I mean, there's a lot of money to be made on, even if PC doesn't have the numbers. PC obviously has the higher spenders, like the people that are willing to spend $1,500 to $2,000 on a big gaming rig. Those are the people that are going to be willing to pay $80 or $100 for a special edition, a game they want. So there's definitely money to be made there, but it would be a shame if developers were like, it's not worth it for us, the development cost and time.
Well, I mean, put it in another context. Think of another game. Look at XCOM. XCOM 2 is PC exclusive, whereas XCOM 1 was multi-platform. Now, what does that say? That says that game did significantly better on PC.
Right. And I mean, that's a PC title, though. If you say XCOM to a person who's just playing Call of Duty and Halo, like that, they're not going to know what the hell you're talking about.
Maybe so,
but a Batman game, I think that everyone.
Yeah, it's hard to nail down what does better on a universal title. Right. But I would say the majority, in general, of games are always going to do better on PC.
Yeah, it's a possibility. I don't have the numbers to refute or confirm that fact, but
you heard it here first.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, the Arkham Knight thing was a whole week-long saga of daily updates. We're like, oh god, we're fixing it. We promise we're fixing it, and then they're like, oh, we're taking it down, but we're still releasing patches. I wonder when it comes back up, and if it comes back up, or I assume it's coming back up. Whenever it does come back up, if people will actually buy it.
Yeah, I'd still say they will.
They'll actually make their money back, or if this is something where it's like, we effed up and we're never making it back.
No, the people will still buy it. I'll still buy it eventually next year when the Game of the Year edition comes out and I can actually play the full game. Yeah. But
on a Steam sale,
because that's what annoyed me most. Like I was already annoyed going in because of all the DLC problems, all the pre-order DLC. So I was already annoyed.
Yeah,
I was like, well. I got you what you deserve.
Yeah, we talked about that too. Like that's another weird thing about this, with all the pre-order DLC that they put out to try and like force people to pre-order, and the game is this effed up. Kind of just goes to show you, even with all this pre-order DLC, it's still not worth it. Don't do it, guys. You're gonna screw yourselves over. They don't care about you, so they just want your money. So don't pre-order video games. Unlike this guy who told me before he started this that he pre-ordered Fallout 4.
You Benedict Arnold.
Steam. Yeah, I'm calling you out here. Yeah.
I pre-ordered Fallout 4.
There was if there's a physical thing involved, I think it's okay. That is the one exception, and you're paying for that physical item.
I'll take the Pip-Boy and I'll give the game away.
Yeah. If that's what you're willing to do, like those
night vision. Genuinely, that is all I wanted.
The night vision Call of Duty goggles that were so awesome that I would have paid $150 just for those.
The thing is, I would have bought, if I could have just bought the Pip-Boy by itself, I would have. Do you know what I mean? It's one of those things.
So that's the only reason why you can do it.
It was like actually the Skyrim Special Edition, right? I actually waited because there was a lot mass produced of Skyrim Collector's Edition when it first came out. Right. So I actually waited till after launch and I just bought the actual Alduin statue on eBay for like an extremely high price.
Right. Yeah.
Or whatever.
So, all right, let's move off of this Batman talk and move into some Red Bull talk, because if there's anything I like to talk about, it is Red Bull giving you wings and epic quest lines in Destiny. That's right.
Gives you a quest about wings.
If you would like to play, I don't think they gave the name of it, the epic new quest line in the Destiny Taken King expansion, you need to buy a can of Red Bull, which will give you early access.
Awesome.
But players who do not buy a can of Red Bull, and I don't blame you, Red Bull is disgusting. And this is a person who likes energy drinks. Red Bull is disgusting.
Don't energy drinks like eat your stomach line in a way?
Yeah, just a little bit, but you know, a little bit is it's good. That burning kind of wakes you up.
The only time I ever liked Red Bull was with Jaeger bombs.
Yeah, Red Bull is disgusting. If you want to know better energy drink alternatives and you're drinking Red Bull right now, go ahead and PM me or send me a tweet. I'll get you some good stuff because Red Bull is the worst. But anyway, so yeah, if you do not buy the can of Red Bull, you will be able to play the mission on January 1st, 2016. So that gives you a couple months of early access and some double XP for purchasing a can of Red Bull. Destiny's had such a long and historic history of strange and probably wrong-headed decisions. What do you think about free stuff for Red Bull?
I hate stuff like this. Stuff like this drives me crazy.
Now wait till you see the Doritos quest line you get.
I know, right?
You get a cheese-colored armor suit if you.
It's just so stupid how they do this like exclusive content and all this. If you go,
yeah. And especially in Destiny, which is carving up its game a lot already. You know, PS4 gets its early access to.
This is why I don't play Destiny. Destiny's rubbish.
Destiny had such promise, I think, but every
turned
turn
out to be completely mediocre at best.
Yeah, the design decisions just don't make sense. They needed to come to terms with the fact that we're making an MMO. We need to cater to a certain type of person, or this game isn't going to work, and they just keep trying to like become an FPS Halo kind of thing with multiple people.
I always think,
I don't think it's worked.
New MMOs just keep trying weird stuff, like weird marketing stuff and weird game design choices. Like look at WildStar. They completely went for like, you know, the whole we're for hardcore raiders, right?
But then they went with like a cartoony,
that's what they
8-year-old
like,
humor style.
They PR'd as like we're the game for hardcore raiders. Like, you know, even like the promo trailers were like, you know, if you're not hardcore, you know, you're not with us, cupcake kind of thing. All this stuff. And so essentially, what they were doing is they were catering to 1% of a demographic, like of a market, like the 1%, because there's not many people. There's like very few people who are hardcore raiders. Right. Everyone else is just usually just a player who dips into raids occasionally, dips into dungeons occasionally. No one's like, there's very few people who are hardcore raiders through and through. And so they would like they catered their entire game around 1% and then wondered why no one plays their game anymore. Yeah.
Well, and they went with the sub for a long time, and I think now they're free to play. Yeah,
they've just launched.
I think they did so. I'm still not going to go back and check that game out because it grated on me the cartoonish.
I hate
childish
any kind of content that's exclusive to retailers or commercialized crap. And it just drives me crazy. It really does drive me crazy.
MMOs they're an ecosystem, and they need to be cultivated like an ecosystem. You need the 1% hardcore, and you need the 1% most social login for like 5 minutes to do a quest at the end of the day type person. You need all of those comers. You need to cater to all of those people.
Not if you're Destiny, you just need that Red Bull money. Yeah,
and Red Bull just wants to and Destiny wants to just keep chopping things up and segregating people. And
it's fine, they'll fail. And the game will fail. Yeah, they'll just drive people away with stuff like this.
Right, and they're costing this new expansion. We didn't talk anything about the expansion, but the Taken King is the next expansion for Destiny announced. It's going to cost something like $50, like a full-price game. And they're saying, oh, well, we're packaging in the old expansions and the base game. And
which most people who play Destiny already have.
We're not doing the thing that most MMOs do, that make like the old expansion free when the new one comes out. No, we're not doing that.
Whatever.
Yeah, they're
idiots.
So questionable. They're
complete and utter idiots.
Yeah. As Boris says in chat here, star Destiny. Yeah, there you go. Did we talk about the SWTOR expansion? We talked about that last week?
I think we did. Briefly.
Did we talk about the fact that they're not going to have a raid or new PvP going in the new expansion?
All like single player.
Yeah, it's all single player. Okay.
Because
Yeah,
why don't they just want to like? I just don't get why they just don't make Knights of the Old Republic 3. Why not?
Yes, we did. I remember you saying that exact sentence, so we definitely talked about this.
Yep.
All right, moving on. So yeah, news is light this week, and summer doldrums mean catching up on old games, and that's about it. No new stuff on the horizon. Go outside, you people. Enjoy the fresh air. Let's talk about the game of the week this week. So this week's game of the week is Her Story, which is published and developed by Sam Barlow. You may know from directing the Silent Hill games, Origins, and Shattered Memories. Origins, I think, was kind of not well regarded, but I think Shattered Memories was like a sleeper hit on the Wii, which is interesting. He developed this game. It's not really a game by my definition. I think this is more of an interactive narrative game. It's also like a search engine simulator. You can check out the Steam page. You could also get it on iOS, but I wouldn't suggest this as like your typical iOS game. This is an iOS game if you want to play it on the couch with headphones instead of in your chair with headphones, I guess. This isn't a great game to play on the couch watching TV. It was released last week, and it's weird. Yeah, alright, so this game entails you playing on a 1995 Windows 95 style computer in which you have a search engine where a police interrogation has been broken down into little, like 30 to 1 minute long chunks of video, and they have been broken down so you can search every word that was said within that video. But then, you can only search for 5 videos at a time, so you need to kind of figure out what word you want to search for. So if you say, I want to search for the word the, that's going to come up in a lot of videos, but you can only see 5 of them. But if you find out the person's name and you search that might be less videos to watch. And you kind of just watch videos and figure out what's going on, and then you decide when you want to end. That's the game. Or not game. Whatever it is. What did you think of Her Story? I see in her face that you loved it.
Yeah, I bought it after you said we were going to do it, and then I had something to do for a couple of days, so I didn't, and then realised that I couldn't Steam refund it, so upset. What is it about, really?
How couldn't you... What prevented you from Steam refunding it?
Because I played it, like, over an hour or something.
I thought it was 2 hours.
Yeah, I played it enough so that...
Oh, okay, you did. Okay. I was wondering if they had put in something where you couldn't refund it if you completed it, or completed it.
Yeah, no, yeah, so it's... I mean, essentially what it is, it's you investigating what the story is behind the murder based on the interview tapes, or the interview video. And the problem with that I had a problem from the start, right? And the reason is I have a problem with the whole premise of the game, right? Why is, like, these police interviews split up into, like, 1 minute segments?
You're thinking too hard. Stop it. You're thinking too hard.
They don't do that. Interviews aren't split up into, like, 1 minute segments and then scrambled in a database. Why?
This is what happened. It's alternate reality where you could only take 1 minute videos.
No, it's awful. That's the problem from the get-go. So I was already annoyed.
Yeah.
And then I started, like, watching, and I honestly, I sat there with my mouth open for a bit because I was like, what am I supposed to be doing? Like, what's the end game here? And then I realized it's to find out what the truth is, right?
Right.
But it isn't. It's just to watch all the videos. Yeah,
I mean, it's not to watch all the videos. You can stop after, like, 25% of the videos to watch. Oh, you didn't get to that point?
I didn't realize you could stop.
Oh, so
I just kept searching. Like, I was too busy watching everything.
The instant message didn't pop up for you?
No, I didn't read it.
Oh, okay. So I'm sure you'll love this part. So the game, when you've reached, like, a certain number of videos watched, I don't remember what the number was, all of a sudden, like, this instant message box pops up, and it's like, have you finished figuring out what happened? And you're like, yes or no. And then if you say yes, he's like, okay, come meet me across the street and we can talk about it. And then the screen fades to black, and then credits roll.
Yeah, no,
and that's the game.
I got that, but I kept ticking no. Okay. Because I wanted to get, like, the 100%.
Yeah, so then you can go for 100%. of the videos.
Yeah, no, I didn't get it. Like I really didn't like it.
I thought this was a crazy, weird experience.
It was interesting. It was interesting. I just didn't like the way it was done. Like the whole thing, like just like I said, the premise of it is just annoyed me from the start. Like, why am I having to word search through video interviews that are like one? Like, you should just give me the whole interview and then let me do whatever.
Yeah, I think that's an interesting mechanic, though, and that's the only mechanic in the game, really, if you can consider it a mechanic.
Yeah, I guess.
It's just because you have to kind of figure out what is important and what's not.
Like, what did you figure out? I can't spoil this, but whatever.
Well, let's put up spoiler tags here, and then we'll end it from here. But we'll talk about spoilers. If you don't want to be spoiled in this game, go play it.
Or don't.
Even though I don't think we could really spoil much for you, I think you should go check it out. And this game is left up to your
Do you actually think you should recommend it, though? Would you actually recommend it?
I would recommend playing it. It's $6 on Steam. I have spent $6 on much more shameful stuff.
I don't see. I think
this game is worth trying.
Like, I like artsy games and like weird games, but I just can't get behind this at all. Like, it's just you're watching a fake police interview split up, and that's all you do. Like, you're just watching a woman act, and sometimes
I think gives a wonderful performance in an FMV game. I don't think we mentioned this is FMV. So you're watching full motion video of this woman who is I have her name. I think it's Viva Seifert. Yeah, Viva Seifert.
I thought it was Hannah.
And she is wonderful, I think, in this role. I think she does a good job. I think the writing could use a little work.
I thought she was good in some parts, but I just thought like some of it was a bit.
Yeah, I think the writing has a lot to do with it. I think it was very tropey and like, like gag worthy at some point.
Because the thing is, it's a British police station, and it's a British police interview, and I can tell you from experience that is not how police interviews go.
Oh, really? It's from experience?
Yes, from experience. That is not how police interviews go.
Well, that's good to know. Not to piss you off. But yeah, I think, and now we can finally get into some spoilers if you want to. So what did you think? What was your?
Did you figure out what actually happened?
So I think so, and I went on some forums, and there is some debate on what actually happened over a couple items, but I clearly think that it was a person with split personality disorder as written by the writers of this game, which isn't necessarily the best depiction of someone with split personality disorder. It's kind of like
I think this is one of the problems I had with the writing. It was blatantly obvious it was trying to be ambiguous.
Right.
And it didn't pull it off at all. Like, it didn't in the slightest.
Right.
Because it went, like, it had me for a split second thinking that it was twins.
Right, yeah, that's what I thought. Yep.
And then like, as soon as I searched, as soon as you learn like the other girl's name, and you search that, within 2 videos, you know that woman's crazy. Within 2 videos.
Yeah.
And
which is sad because it's like a poor depiction of split personality disorder. I think I don't think they did a very good job of it. They just kind of went with all your basic horror tropes of like a woman who has a murderous split personality.
Yeah, no, it was pretty poor writing, I thought, because it was like they tried to be as ambiguous as possible,
right?
And I just don't think they succeeded. And I don't know if it's the way I searched, because I found a lot of like story-heavy videos very quickly. So I don't know if it was the way it was laid out, or if it was just I got lucky and searched like the right search terms each time to get like a lot of the main content of the videos, but.
And that kind of makes it hard to discuss, really, like the fact that you could go about it in so many different ways, and if you happen to think of the right word to search for, you could find it in like seconds.
Yeah, I think you could, but like,
I think part of the reason why I like this game so much was that after about 45 minutes of searching, I was like, I started thinking it was split personality, but then I was like, oh, but this, and this kind of make me still think that it's maybe twins that are doing this.
But it was like essentially she. Basically, has split personality. From what I picked up, she has split personality, and she poisoned her husband. That was basically it. That was the story. It was boring. Like, the game's boring.
Right.
It's not like it had me for like maybe 10 minutes where I thought it was slightly interesting, and that was due to the woman who was acting, because she was like doing some weird stuff and I was trying to figure out what was going on. But it's kind of like, as soon as you figure out basically what the overall main story kind of is, the game becomes boring. Because there's a lot of like video clips in there that they're pointless. They don't add anything.
They're table dressing kind
of
stuff.
Like, oh yeah, he had a watch that was given to him by his boss. And that's like a minute video. I'm like, who gives a
and then you go on a search for the boss, and that leads to kind of a dead end.
Who gives a crap?
Really go anywhere.
Like, there's loads of stuff in there that's just pointless, like talking about a childhood and stuff like that. Like, who cares?
So some of it I thought was actually interesting, and the one moment that really kind of sealed it for me was when I was trying to like confirm for myself, all right, she has split personality disorder. I was like, oh, she's drinking coffee, and she was drinking tea before, and then I searched like coffee. And I was like, oh, she took her coffee one way one day, and then different way the next day. It was like, oh, that...
It was the different hairstyles, and I think it was... Yeah. And the thing is, though, the actress who did it, it was blatant that it was two different personalities. It was overt. It wasn't subtle.
Yeah.
It was very overt because they were completely different. Like, they were talking about different things, and they would like, have different attitudes, and I thought it was just too blatant. It was just too in your face, and it made the whole thing just really boring. Like, I was bored really easily.
I thought it was an interesting way to present the game. I think it's something that I'm surprised we haven't seen yet with all the, police procedurals that you have on TV. They dominate the TV genre, but we haven't really gotten it.
And I wouldn't have minded if it was something interesting, if it was a more complex case and it had an end game rather than just going to a black screen. If it had, like, you had to compose evidence for a case, for like a court thing. That'd be interesting.
Yeah, no, that would make a really good game. I think this is a good tech demo for that.
Yeah, like, you had to put videos of interviews in to support your conclusion of what happened, and then you had to like look through the forensics and stuff like that. That'd be an interesting game.
Or what if it was multiple people? Like you had multiple different interviews. That would be a really.
That would be an interesting game. But watching this, just the videos and not having any kind of end game and any point to it, other than to figure out what happened, is kind of boring.
Yeah.
But whatever.
I liked it. I think it was something different. I like doing different things, and for $6, I think this is
I think you should just watch a Let's Play on it.
Yeah, or you could do that if you're a jerk and don't want to give them money for cool.
I'm not a jerk. I just don't want to give them money.
No, it's fine. I mean,
money for crap.
Yeah. I mean, there are multiple videos that I found on YouTube that are literally just the videos spliced together in the order that was like, oh yeah, that's great. But it's $6, and if you like the video you're watching on YouTube, you might as well support them.
It's one of those games though that's like for $6. I don't know if it's worth $6 though.
Yeah. Well, you could also try and win a copy here, and we'll tell you about.
That's true. I like that plug.
Spoiler. Spin yeah. But yeah, I think it's worth it. You obviously don't. So let's cut to the chase here.
I'll agree to disagree.
Yeah, we can do that, folks. We are adult people that can have differing opinions and not hate each other.
Yeah, internet.
Yeah. So anyway, let's wrap up the show here. It's kind of a short one, but that's what you get when all you have to talk about is some Batman stuff.
And a woman in a fake police interview.
Yes. Yeah. So, there was no contest last week because we had a free game. So like we said then, congratulations, you all won a copy of Fallout Shelter, as long as you have an iOS device. Next week, if you'd like to win a copy of Her Story, you need to tweet a suggestion for our game next week. Since there aren't really many big title games coming out, we need some suggestions. So tweet us any suggestion at 20orLESS podcast. Hashtag 20orLESS gaming. No, just 20 or less. And you have a chance to win Her Story. Make sure you add 20orLESS podcast so we can DM you the info if you do win, and if you'd like to get updates on the show, that's where you can get them. If you'd like to email the show, you can also email us suggestions for future games or feedback. 20orLESSpodcast@gmail.com. Join our Steam group where we post the forums where you can discuss episodes. We have our curator page where you can see what we've said about previous games. And then make sure you subscribe on iTunes so you get your podcast updates nice and easy. Automatically happens if you subscribe. And leave us a nice comment and rate us on iTunes, because that's good for us and it makes us feel good. Or bad if you've read a bad review. That's fine too. But where can we reach you, Cosmic?
You can get me at youtube.com/thecosmicengine. I have a lot of videos coming up. I still need to post my massive chalice review. Like it's done. Like I've done it.
Yeah, you've been talking about that for like 4 episodes now.
I've done it, right? But I keep having to put it off because something else crops up, and it's actually driving me crazy. But this week I'll have Legends of Eisenwald, and I'll have some indie games that are coming out over the next couple of weeks. Because this is why I like summer. I get to review indie games like all summer. It's fun.
All right, where can people contact you if you'd like to contact?
You can get me at Twitter. At Cosmic Engine 99, and I'm on Facebook somewhere, but I don't know where.
Oh, all right, yeah, go find him. That's your challenge for next week. If you find him on Facebook, we'll give you a prize.
That'll be harder than her story.
Much more of a mystery than her story. If you'd like to reach me, you can find me at GTeeg on Twitter. That's GTEEG on Twitter. You can also email me, gaddockteeg@gaddockgaming.com. Thank you very much for watching and or listening, depending on how you are receiving this media. And we shall see you next time. Yeah, you like that one. I couldn't have said it any more awkwardly.